Garoppolo as the starting quarterback against the Bears?
Well, that, I would guess so. I'm going to watch this tape and see if guys are healthy, first of all. I don't even know where our guys are at. It was good for Jimmy to be able to get healthy enough to play in this game today. I got a whole team to worry about. I'm not just thinking about the quarterback situation right now. I'm going to evaluate everything, see where our team's at, see what gives us the best chance to beat Chicago, and see what our options are. I mean, that's what you go into each week, finding out your options. We had 2 quarterbacks who were hurting this week. Jimmy was able to come back and play. We'll see if Trey can next week. Still not sure yet. But I got a lot of things to figure out.
I would guess so is not the answer that you're typically accustomed to when the question is whether or not your starting quarterback will start the next game. 2-4 are the 49ers now. They started 2-0, and the chance to go to the playoffs if you start 2-0 and blah, blah. Look, they're 2-4 now. They've lost 4 in a row. I think we have to come to grips with the possibility that this team just isn't very good, isn't as good as we thought they were going to be. And the quarterback situation has a lot to do with it. They wanted to get rid of Jimmy. Maybe you can help me understand this. They decided they wanted to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo. So, they looked at all their different options, and they finally decided we're going to make this big trade. We're going to give up 3 first-round picks and a third-round pick so we can ultimately get our guy, our replacement for Jimmy G. And then the night before the draft, they try to get Aaron Rodgers, and the Packers hang up the phone on them. And then they ultimately draft a guy who needs a couple of years to get ready. So you want to get rid of Jimmy G, but then you embrace the guy that needs a couple of years to get ready. So you're going forward with Jimmy G. You got a Super Bowl-ready team, you think, but your quarterback is what's holding you back. And they're 2-4 now. So I'm not surprised by any of it. I'm just stunned that the 49ers have just kind of been – they're just kind of in the dark, just trying to figure out how they're going to get themselves out of this quarterback mess that they put themselves in.
Well, I think that the biggest part of that was, you want to strike while the iron is hot. And San Francisco, I agree with you. I think they had a team that could make a run. So to do that, you don't put all your eggs in a rookie basket. You just don't. So if they didn't want Garoppolo, the effort, in my opinion, should have been for a veteran quarterback and not the day before a draft for Aaron Rodgers. It should have been if you have this team that's ready to go, and if you don't want Garoppolo as your quarterback, you better bring in another veteran, a good player to lead this team and not have to rely on a rookie because it's just not going to happen. And then you end up losing out on the one guy you make a little bit of an effort for in Aaron Rodgers, and you draft a guy who hasn't played a whole lot in the last couple of years who could have a very high ceiling. So once the dust settled of all of that, my thought was, as you just mentioned, what they should have done, but they didn't do. So the dust settled. To me, it was you still got to start Jimmy Garoppolo because you have a really good football team right now and a quarterback who everybody keeps bringing up. Well, when he starts, he has a really good winning record, as a starting quarterback. But unfortunately, he's turning the ball over some. He's still getting nicked some. So, and once the team, and it looks more and more, like they're not going to be there as we sit and look in that division of an undefeated Cardinals and a 4-loss San Francisco team. But we have a 4-loss Seattle team that doesn't have Russell Wilson right now. But as it starts to go by the wayside, then I am all for once Trey Lance, and maybe it would have been Trey Lance's job had he not gotten hurt. He got hurt and now had to miss a game. Wouldn't shock me at all if Trey Lance is the quarterback in the next game. It's against Chicago, so you're going against another rookie quarterback in Justin Fields. That offense is no great shakes out of Chicago right now, so maybe you put Trey back in and see if he can win that job. Because the more this team is going to be out of it, the more you do put Trey Lance in there and you do let him get his nose bloodied and his eyes watered and let him start to get those reps. But as long as the 49ers had been in it, I think you did need that veteran quarterback, something maybe they didn't go too hard after in the offseason if they didn't want Garoppolo.
I think they would have been interested in Matthew Stafford, but that was kind of, I don't want to call it an inside job, but you had Brad Holmes, who had been with the Rams, who became the GM of the Lions, and it was the Stafford with Goff being kind of tucked into it to get Goff off the payroll of the Rams. But, they could have sent Garoppolo to Detroit too, and he could have been, as good or / bad of a starter as Jared Goff is for the Detroit Lions. But you don't get the extra trade boost for taking that huge guaranteed money off the books like the Lions did for Goff, because basically the Lions got a first-round pick to take Goff's contract.
Right.
But, Sims knows Kyle Shanahan as well as anyone in the media does. They played college football together at Texas, and Sims says Shanahan won't talk to him now because Sims is in the media. But Sims still has impressions based on what he knows. And Sims believes when they made that trade that Mac Jones was the guy that Kyle Shanahan wanted. And Sims believes that someone talked him out of Mac Jones and over to Trey Lance. And then I think, and Sims believes, that Kyle waited and hoped that Lance would seize the job, that he would step up and play in a way that got the locker room that is firmly behind Jimmy Garoppolo to say, see you later, Jimmy, we're with this guy now. And Merritt will do that. If you get a guy who shows up and he's clearly better than the guy who's there, they're all going to gravitate toward the new guy if the new guy is dramatically better. But Lance has yet to declare himself, and no one expected him to because he was viewed as a guy who was going to need a couple of years. That's why none of this makes any sense. Nothing the 49ers have done at quarterback the last 5 years makes any sense, including passing on Patrick Mahomes and saying no to Tom Brady when he wanted to come home. No, we're good with Jimmy. Really? Okay, fine. Have fun with that.
Well, see, listen, I don't think there, and no doubt there were mistakes, but you know what teams do, nobody wants to admit to a mistake. Nobody wants to admit they made the wrong choice. That's why every draft pick was the correct draft pick for every team in every round, no matter what, at the time when they get asked about it. And if I find it hard to believe, Mike, that there could be the thought process that Trey Lance would come in and make you want to forget about Jimmy Garoppolo. You know, I know Jimmy Garoppolo is not the greatest quarterback, but he's not the worst quarterback either. And Trey Lance, has played limited games in college, not, Division I, by the way, not certainly not Power 5 and not Division I, and he hasn't played as of late. So to think a guy who may have a high ceiling, and you look at him with the whip he's got and the way he can move, it is an incredible to look at. But to think to come into the National Football League and right away show I should be the guy and I'm going to turn all the locker room guys, all the vets over to my side, that's crazy. And he may turn out to be a great quarterback, but if anybody thought that was going to happen right out of the gate, I don't know where that thought process was coming from.
But that's what makes how they handled this so confusing. Okay, you come to the conclusion that we've got a pretty damn good team right now. As you said, right now.
Yeah.
The moment's now.
Yep.
The future's now. We got a pretty good team right now, but the guy that's holding us back is our quarterback. So what are our options? Oh, wow, Matthew Stafford. Boy, we would have liked to have been on that. Oh, crap, he's going to be with the Rams now. Well, who else is out there? And it just, nothing else materialized. Again, they called the Packers about Aaron Rodgers the night before the draft, and they knew there was reason to call. They knew that there was acrimony and dysfunction, and maybe they'd make something happen. And think of how good that team would be if they had Aaron Rodgers right now instead of Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance. But when you make that trade up, and you're just giving off the vibe you're looking for an immediate upgrade at quarterback. Why are you not looking for an immediate upgrade at quarterback? Why are you giving up 3 first-round picks and a third-round pick for a quarterback that may make you better years from now when your window is open now? We see how these windows open and close. The window's open now. That's what's so confounding about it, Mike.
Oh, listen, I agree. You look at Cincinnati, Jacksonville, the Jets, you get what you're doing to build for the future. But, man, there are other guys in that locker room. You have an obligation to those players as well. I mean, the time is now. You don't know when they're going to come about. Talk to Marino. Hell, he gets to the Super Bowl early in his career and thinks, oh, okay, we're going to get back. Never gets back again. You just don't know. So you take advantage of your opportunity. And I know some guys in that locker room have already been to a Super Bowl, so they even got a taste. So they know what it takes to get there. And when you have that team that can at least be in contention for that, you got to make hay. And it does seem like in the periph and behind the curtain that the 49ers really didn't do enough to take advantage of this year.
And you got to wonder when jobs are going to be on the line. I know when they hired Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, they gave him 6-year contracts, full
6
guarantee,
years,
no offset, because they had that stink of dysfunction where Tom Sula, they fired Jim Harbaugh, then they have Tom Sula for 1 year and he's out, Chip Kelly for 1 year and he's out. They needed some stability. But, it's kind of got a little bit of Gruden-Mayock vibe where before all the stuff that happened with Gruden over the past couple of weeks, it felt like Mayock was going to be the sacrificial lamb. At some point, Lynch may be out, and Shanahan tries to salvage, because this notion that you've got a great team, well, yeah, they've been to a Super Bowl, but every other year they've stunk. And right now, it's amazing to think, Mike, that epic Week 17 game, the Sunday nighter between the 49ers and the Seahawks that determined the 1 seed in the NFC, those two teams now are 2-4 and looking up at the rest of the division. It just shows you how quickly things change in the NFL, and it shows you when that window's open, it can go from open to shut fast.
Oh, without a doubt. And listen, jobs will be on the line. You talk about GMs. We always kept bringing up Gettleman as far as Daniel Jones was concerned. And you would have to do that with no matter how it went. And that's what I don't know behind the scenes of how it went. If Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones and got talked out of it, who did he get talked out of it by? Was it John Lynch? How did they end up with Trey Lance? But that's who you're joined at the hip with, right? So you have to see how that develops. If Trey Lance can turn into a really good quarterback, because that's the most important position on the field, that's going to be a feather in the cap for management there for the 49ers, right? I mean, so that's what you have to wait and see. You have to wait and see when you make a pick that high, is it going to pan out for you?
And, well, we'll see how it plays out for the 49ers. But 2-4, not good, and not nearly what they thought they were going to be, especially after starting 2-0.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.